We are in conversation with Amit Jatia, the Vice Chairman of West-Life Development, to take stock of how the company has done and what we can expect as we move into the summer season with respect to discretionary demand as well as the company's plans in terms of expansion. Mr. Jatia, thank you for joining us and taking the time out speaking to us on Bloomberg Quint. Let me begin by asking you about gearing up for the summer, because I'm sure a lot of product ranges will perhaps need some tweaking in order to, I suppose, garner in the requirements from customers. How is West-Life Development preparing for the season?
Actually, from a new product development and particularly sort of dealing with what's going to happen in the summer, we've been quite ahead of schedule. I'm happy to say that a couple of days ago we launched the new platforms, both for value, where we have a very attractive price point for the consumer, where they can choose different burgers and different drink options at tremendous value. Additionally, we've launched our new extra value meals, where when you buy a meal you get a French fry free, which is a premium branded McDonald's product. And additionally, we've launched 3 different new products in McCafe. And, consumers are absolutely loving it. And over the last 3 or 4 years, the work we've done on building platforms, on menu innovation, quarter on quarter has been really appreciated by consumers, which, of course, fortunately are reflecting in our results.
All right, Mr. Jatia, then can we talk a little more about the outlook going forward? West-Life Development has seen some very robust same-store sales growth over the last 4 or 5 odd quarters. The real question is, to a certain extent, are we expecting some base to catch up? And this I juxtapose against the kind of demand that you are seeing when it comes to discretionary spending. How are you expecting some of these aspects to work out?
Sure. I mean, see, first and foremost, you got to understand the context of same-store sales growth. At least from a West-Life point of view, this is our 14th quarter of same-store positive sales growth. So the quarter that ended in December is effectively 3rd or 4th year of positive growth. Now, same-store sales growth is really a compounding effect, and therefore it's not about the percentage of same-store sales growth. I think the important thing is that when you go in the 4th year or the 5th year, comping against the old quarter, the important thing is first to retain the customers who you have accumulated over the 4 quarters and then grow on top of that. So let's assume last year, we did, say, I'm just making the number up, we did 25% comps or same-store sales growth in say, a specific quarter. And the quarter before that, in the previous year, 10% and say 5% or 8% before that. The important thing is the minute you comp even positively or grow same-store sales positively, you've not only retained such a big base, but on top of that, you've added even more customers to that. So we have defined our vision 2022 quite clearly, and we did that in 2016 when things were really difficult, in fact. And we boldly laid out a plan which is sort of pretty much on track for us. So we've said that sustainable same-store sales growth is normally between 7 to 9%. And therefore, year on year, that's the number that we are quite confident of delivering. I feel that even though, of course, the economy has its ups and downs, it impacts consumer spending and sentiment. And after the last difficult period, 13, 14, 15, we decided that, whether things are good or bad, the category is growing quite nicely and it's a young category. Therefore, we internally have taken a challenge to ensure that at least we keep same-store sales growth positive. So I'm quite hopeful that as the business develops over the next 2 to 3 years, our vision 2022, 7 to 9% same-store sales growth looks a reality to me, basically.
You did speak about a platform that you guys have introduced right now. The last time we had a conversation, you guys also spoke about a rice platform which was launched. Can you tell us a little more about the response and the kind of traction it is getting right now?
Sure. So, I'll just differentiate between a promotion and a platform. A platform is something that sort of gives you results for 5 years, 10 years. And of course, it takes a couple of years to establish a new platform, because just because, say, a company launches a platform doesn't mean the consumers will adopt that from day one. Firstly, rice has worked out really well for us. It's now pretty much a standard menu item across all our restaurants. We will continue to build on different flavors of rice as we go along, and we will normally bring back rice on television in the future, because it takes us to remind consumers a few times before the platform starts settling in. So we are quite pleased that it's a new option that now consumers have, and especially it makes McDonald's a meal destination as well. Similarly, value platform, we were the ones who created this platform in 2004. And the Happy Price menu, in fact, lasted almost for 8 to 10 years, which we finally replaced with the McSaver menu. And the McSaver menu came about, I think, 2 years ago, and we've constantly evolved that. What I'm really excited about is that the most recent evolution, and that's why it's of course a platform, because you keep evolving that as well, is essentially bringing a price point to the consumer. And if you look at, say, a cappuccino, and McDonald's McCafe has done really, really well, and now we have over 180 McCafes across our territory. But a cappuccino typically starts at 99 rupees. But today you have the option of choosing cappuccino as one of the beverage options, along with a burger or a product, and getting the same for 85 or 89 rupees. So the point is, now that's value. And you will see from West-Life and from McDonald's that we always look at sustainable platforms. The idea is not for it to be a promotion where one time we give this offer and then we have to take it away. So I feel, therefore, this 85, 89 rupee platform that we've created, along with the new extra value meals, where a French fry, and that too a McDonald's French fry, is now free as a part of the meal. I feel that this just sets a new benchmark for value, and I think it should work quite well for us in the next 3 to 4 months.
Okay, only for the benefit of our viewers, I'd like to reiterate the company's Vision 2022, where they are looking to set up around 400 to 500 stores. That's McDonald's, looking at around 300 to 350 McCafes, as well as 300 to 325 odd McDelivery hubs. And they're also targeting about EBITDA margins of around 13 to 15%, along with a support of around 79% with respect to same-store sales growth. Mr. Jatia, I assume you're on track in all these numbers. Any updates with respect to the same?
Yes, I mean, we did an investor day in June of 2018, where we did a check on what we had presented in 2016. And we do believe that we are on track to deliver our Vision 2022. Like I said, it's never about a quarter on quarter when you're building a platform and when you're going for high growth. But year on year, we've definitely been pretty much trending towards our Vision 2022. So we are quite confident of delivering on 2022.
All right, Mr. Jatia, then let me just, zoom out a little and talk a little more about consumption. In general, there are a lot of, I would say consumption companies out there which are suggesting there's a little bit of a slowdown after tremendous 1.5 years. The real question comes down to the fact that some of these companies are actually questioning whether or not there could be just some amount of subdued movement. Now, let's leave the rural aspect aside. If we only talk about urban areas, in your observation, do you think demand in general is up to the mark, in line with what you're used to or what you have seen over the past 1.5 years?
I mean, see, obviously we've just sort of completed the last quarter, and therefore it's very hard for me to really talk about it, as it will become like a forward-looking conversation. However, all I can say is that quarter on quarter is not the way I at least like to judge a business. Sometimes, things work out, sometimes things are a little slower, but net, at least from our point of view, we are confident of delivering a 7 to 9% same-store sales growth, which obviously means that through the consumer journey, through the ups and downs of the industry, we need to be able to find enough consumer sweet spots that at least keep them bringing back to McDonald's restaurants. So while I'm sorry I might not be able to give you specifics on the last 1.5 months, but I can say that on a trend basis, we are at least quite confident about delivering on our vision of the 7 to 9% same-store sales growth.
Right, Mr. Jatia, my question actually wasn't to do with this particular quarter specifically, or perhaps the last few quarters. I just wanted to better understand if there is a little bit of a change with respect to consumer sentiment as a whole, with respect to the industry as a whole, perhaps not specific to West-Life Development. Do you see any problems in terms of consumption? That was what I was trying to understand better.
No, that's what I meant. I get the question,
right.
And I get it that it's sort of beyond. It's more an industry aspect, and therefore, but I finally sort of leads back down to a bit of a forward-looking question. Okay. My view is that yes, when you have seen 20-25% same-store sales growth, or almost 30% top-line growth, I don't think that one can expect the same trend to continue every year. I do believe that to that extent, if you were to compare, it's not going to be, I feel, possible to sort of maintain that trajectory. But I definitely feel that through the ups and downs, a sustainable number is yet deliverable. But yes, I mean, consumer sentiments do shift a little bit. And to that extent, yes, there is a slight change from what it was in the previous quarters.